Hey, it's John Green, and welcome to World History Crash Course. Today we're going to be talking about the Industrial Revolution. To be honest, most things that we use today are because of the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution made it possible to make things easier and faster. The way you go to school or work every day came from the Industrial Revolution, whether that be cars, planes, trains, or buses, etc. Every type of machine that helps your modern-day life came from the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution was an increase of production by the use of machines that were powered by new energy sources. The Industrial Revolution occurred around the 18th century, and it started because of the population increase, which meant a huge food shortage. Most people were farmers before the Industrial Revolution. With the Industrial Revolution, it gave more people jobs. Another start of it was the increase of technology with machines to grow more food. The main goal was to get more, cheaper, and faster food. The other two main parts of the Industrial Revolution is exploitation and money. With those two terms, it allowed a lot of people to have private ownership. An example of the private ownership is the joint stock companies. Another way people made money was doing selective breeding, which made the two biggest animals to breed so they could make bigger animals to sell more meat. Basically, as an example, they would have two cows selected out of the bunch, take the biggest ones to make the biggest cow they could. Overall, the Industrial Revolution was mostly effective because of the agricultural revolution. The energy sources to power these machines were wood, coal, water, and iron. With the agricultural revolution, there was new ways and old ways of farming. With the new ways, it became easier to make food. There was new machines being made, such as the seed drill, to help put out seeds strategically other than just doing it random. So you would have the plants in a specific place. And if there's any questions, let me know. Oh, yes, Alex.
Yes, John Green. I know you talked about the old and the new way a little bit, at least mentioned it. But could you explain, I guess, more in depth and I guess sort of explain the process and what the old way and the new way were?
For sure, Alex. These are the two ways, the old way and new way. The old way consisted of wheat, oats, and fallow, but there's always an open field. So every couple weeks or so, there'd be a crop rotation where the wheats go to the oats go to the open field, etc. But there's always open field, so there wasn't the need to make more money off of selling wheat or oats to make food for the people that needed it. But in the new way, you had wheat, oats, clover, and turnips. Now, clover and turnips helped replenish the soil, so things can always be used and not have to worry about that. And the old way consisted that 90 farmers could feed 100 people, but in the new way they found that 30 farmers could feed 100 people, so they could help feed people a lot easier. But the thing is that Adam Smith and Karl Marx were both influenced by these new ways, and Karl Marx believed that in the field everyone should own a proportion, or they should all own it together, not one specific person. But the new way, Adam Smith believed that it should be private ownership, and whoever owns the land should own the land by themselves and not have to worry about other people. Adam Smith believed in capitalism, which thrived upon private ownership. Another major thing included private ownership was the wealth of nations. Adam Smith believed in no government had control, and some example as Elias Fair and the invisible hand, which means the hands off. The government has no rights against your private ownership. Capitalism is based around competition and protecting the three natural rights: self-interest, supply and demand, and competition. Capitalism is basically surrounded of competition because they would just try to beat other companies. Now, Karl Marx believed in the opposite and followed socialism, where there was no competition, everyone shared wealth. He had also believed that the government should have control over every country. He also believed that there were two classes and they were formed through conflict. He was known for Das Kapital and the Communist Manifesto, which his ideas came the rise of communism. He is known as the father of communism because of the socialist acts. Now, there were two methods on how companies expanded their businesses: vertical and horizontal integration. With another example, we have the vertical integration. So take me as an example as John Green's Pizza. And the way I have to make my products is through a dairy farm, pastry company, and have to transportation to get me those things. But instead of me paying them every time they see it, so every time I make a sale, they'll get a fraction of how much that I make from that sale. So say the dairy farm gets 5% of my profits, and then pastry gets 2, and then transportation gets 2. So it's just whatever I make, they get help from, so they're never gonna stop doing that because they'll lose their money. But if you come over here to horizontal integration, you have things like John Green's Pizza, Alex's Pizza, Pizza Hut, and DeCarlo's. So John Green's Pizza, we're all having the same price. So if my pizza place, I dropped the price to try to make more money. So after that, Alex's Pizza starts losing this business. Alex has the best sauce around, but I have like his crust is not good, and my crust is good, but I don't have that good of sauce. So me and Alex come together and work together to try to take out places like DeCarlo's. We eventually succeed. We take out DeCarlo's, but some place like Pizza Hut that's worldwide, we can't beat that. So now it ends up being we end up working for Pizza Hut, and now our profits go into Pizza Hut. So after talking about that monopoly scandal, so now we have how the town was actually laid out. So since the factory needed some type of energy source, they used the most efficient thing would be water. The water in the river would never actually go down enough so they can't use it. So right here you have like the lower class people in their apartments living right next to the factory because you can't have cars or somebody trying to get to the factory to make their items. And then you have something like general items, you have like lawyers, just generic stuff like schools, like food, like a grocery store. But the thing about this town is that there's so much crime because everyone was poor. So like these middle class homes, these churches and stuff, they try to stay far out as possible. But the thing about the richer people like upperclassmen, landowners, factory owners, they had so much money, they didn't want to risk anything going back into like the inside of the town. So what they would do is they would hire people to try to make them go into town to bring them back what they needed instead of them taking their own risk. And this is basically how the town was formed during these times because like poor people couldn't afford as much, so they just had to walk to the factories. They weren't as big, but then as farther you get out to the town, it's like the richer and like more wealthy you are. Hopefully today you get to see how important the Industrial Revolution was, because without it, we would have a lot of problems in today's society. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment something you didn't know before the video. Hope you can stay tuned for the next video, where we're going to be introducing the mania that causes the World War I. See ya.